Confusing Science. I'm Simon.
And I'm Jeff.
So, Jeff, I always like to think of this podcast as being very absurdist, which...
Yeah, I think that fits.
Yeah, like, it's very much rooted in the idea that... Because I think you and I actually... A little backstory on how this iteration of this podcast was created. I remember, I think it started when I heard a Roman Mars 99% Invisible episode where he was like, had like a side conversation at the end of it where they were talking about apologetics for Star Wars. And I brought it up.
And then we based an entire podcast about apologetics for sci-fi.
Well, it was like, what it was is that I remember I brought it up to you. I brought up the idea that this was going to be our pivot. And your response was like, people can't just like accept that they're just stories, that like not everything has to make sense in a world. And I was like, yeah, I guess I didn't really think of it that way, but you're right. I guess not everything really has to make sense in a world.
Right. And here we are, explaining it so it makes sense in the world.
Exactly. This is a roundabout way of saying, like, the ultimate form of this is Dr. Seuss. Like,
the ultimate form of our podcast? We're writing a book?
Of worlds where not everything, like, where apologetics break down because it's just an entirely meaningless, absurdist world.
Right,
like,
right.
There's cohesion in stories, and there's a weird amount of consistency in the world, but for literally no reason does that exist. It doesn't actually need to exist.
It's there to throw you off, to make you question what reality really is.
But like, yeah, like that's what it is. It's like it's a story being like, I don't need to make sense. It's such a weird form of writing that never really I didn't really appreciate it until I was watching the Lorax recently with my girlfriend. And that was the impetus for this episode. And like, cause like people have tried to like make order to Dr. Seuss books.
Why would you do that?
But that's exactly what it is. Cause like you can't make a narrative, like a movie length narrative structure out of a Dr. Seuss book. Cause it's just too absurd. It's too random.
Well, it's like, it's too absurd, too random and weird, and the Dr. Seuss book also has 12 pages.
That's true. Actually, I think Green Eggs and Ham was a challenge that was set to Dr. Seuss to write a book in 100 words. And it's now become like his like most famous book.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just saying, Dr. Seuss is a weird genius. Like it in a very strange way. And that's what this week's episode is. You know what? It's not this week's episode. It's this 2 weeks episode. This fortnight's episode. There we go.
Yeah, that's the one. Gotta get the SEO and get those kids listening.
Yeah, there we go. Put hashtag Fortnite on this, and they'll be like, this had nothing to do with the game Fortnite. We're like, yeah, but we mentioned Fortnite.
We said the word like 3 times.
Say it. Fortnite. And then we had this whole weird conversation about how it was about SEO, about a game. Therefore, it does count.
Right.
Look at that, guys.
Technically not false advertising.
This is SEO. This is how you do it. We got to get that tween army, man. Tween army. You got to get them young, and you got to get them... you got to get them hard. You want an army... You want to be like Senior Chang from Community. You want an army of tweens.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
That's how you create a successful brand. Because you know what tweens grew up to be? 20-year-olds. You know what 20-year-olds are? Moneybags. That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true at all, in my experience.
Yeah, as a 20-year-old, or I'm not a 20-year-old. How old am I?
It's fine. You'll get old enough and all the ages will become the same. Just have to become eternal and never die.
I think that happens at 24 because 24, 25, and 26 have literally felt identical.
Have you gotten to where you just assume everyone at all times just 25?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Because that is my baseline assumption.
Which is odd because I know for sure you're older than me. Yeah, well, I feel like I'm in an age where I'm just like I'm somewhere between 24 and 30. So I haven't reached the existential crisis of 30.
You are now like, this is the demographic range, and I'm just gonna not do the math for age anymore.
Exactly, and it's actually an issue for me because people ask me how old I am.
And you have to do the math every time?
Yes, or I have to remember. So here's how I do it. I remember how old my girlfriend is. And then I subtract 6 months.
There you go.
Because she's just 6 months older than me. And it works out. I mean, I'm only wrong about 50% of the time. Oh man, I'm real bad at my... Numbers are hard, guys. Anyway, Dr. Seuss.
Yep. Significantly less complicated than numbers, I'm assuming.
You know, I wish, you know what? I just finished the first book of the Stormlight Archives, and I wish Dr. Seuss wrote like a 1,300 page, like, fiction.
An epic length novel.
That would have been such a trippy, that would have been like Stanislaw Lem level novelization where you're like, I don't know where this is or where I am or what's going on.
I'd be behind a book like that. I'd read that for sure.
Yeah, I would too. It'd be great. Anyway, someone should do that. Someone should try and create the novelization of a good writer should try and do a novelization of Dr. Seuss.
Oh, I'll just delete that off of my writing prompts list.
I don't know. I've never read any of your writing, Jeff, so I don't know if you're good or not. You're not a good podcaster based upon...
I'm not a good podcaster.
Yeah, but neither am I, so, you know.
I don't really do much creative writing in my own time.
That's true.
Mostly I get drunk and write poems.
Hey, maybe you can make an epic poem. Oh, man, that'd be even better. Of course it would be an epic poem because it's Dr. Seuss. It's got a rhyme.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. Dude, we could create Dr. Seuss's Odyssey. All right.
That sounds like it could be amazing by someone competent.
By someone competent. Exactly. Not us. Someone else.
Absolutely not.
You creative person listening to this podcast 15 years in the future because you've randomly found it on YouTube, we're assuming. Go write a Dr. Seuss epic poem. Go. I gotta turn down my audio. I'm bouncing between being too loud and too soft. Anyway.
How they know what it's like just hanging out with you in general.
Hey, that's true, but too accurate. That's what that is. So we can make jokes about
too close to home.
Yeah, we can make jokes about you being bald, but we cannot make jokes about me having no volume control. That crosses the line.
Oh, I see. You just haven't come to terms with it yet.
Yeah, that's what it is. I gotta just shave off
your volume control.
I have no volume control whatsoever. Embrace it. Anyway, so we're gonna get started on, I think, the most well-known Dr. Seuss book, The Grinch. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a Dr. Seuss jam, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a Dr. Juice jam.
That's it.
It's fight for New York City, Dr. Juice jam. So a real weird reference there. I don't know who that joke was for. That that joke was for me.
Yeah, I don't. As for like you and maybe Eli, I'm guessing.
No, not even Eli, because that was a joke off of Def Jam's Fight for New York City, which was a Xbox game released in like 2005. Yeah. So it's for me and my friend Liam from high school who doesn't listen to this podcast. Anyway, yeah, so it's been a long day, guys. I had to work today. So for anyone who doesn't know what the Grinch is, this has never been such a preposterous thing to do.
For the lucky few.
For you, I would call them unfortunate, because the Grinch it's a wholesome Christian story.
It's all right.
I think it's okay, fine, but Jeff just took the wind right out of my sails.
I know. I was gonna say, like, I'm waiting for you to unpack it, but you're like wounded.
So the How the Grinch Stole Christmas is about a Grinch. They don't ever explain what a Grinch is. I do believe he is green in the book. In the illustrations, yes, he is.
That's my assumption, but I don't know if that's just.
He is. I was looking at the cover with the covers in black and white. So he's a green creature of indeterminate species that hates the Who's down in Whoville. The Who's are just a society. I don't know. They're a town.
Right.
Odd that they all have the last name of Who, which makes me think that it's like
just a real weird cult.
Yeah, like
village.
Like Seneca community level cult. Another kind of deep cut into. But so it's about a guy. He hates giving. He hates all the Who's down in Whoville. So he tries to steal Christmas. He steals all of their gifts. He dresses up like Santa Claus. He steals all these gifts. And he's gonna throw them into a chasm. But all of the Who's end up they don't care. They still gather in their square. They hold hands and they sing. And it warms the Grinch's heart, and he gives them back their gifts, and he becomes like it's reminiscent of Ebenezer Scrooge, which if you have not seen the Grinch but you have seen A Christmas Carol, you do live pre 1950. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the basic gist. It's a Dr. Seuss story, so it's not very long. I guess the things we need to answer are: what is the Grinch? What makes him so grumpy? Because they do offer up explanations. His head's not screwed on too tight. His heart's 2 sizes too small.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on, because like it does say that the heart is too small, and then it grows however much when he hears the singing. So I want to discuss at some point if that's literal.
I think we have to assume it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with we're an apologetics podcast. I think I told you this before, that I've described our podcast as satirical apologetics.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
But yeah, I think we have to assume, if we can explain it, it has to be assumed to be real. I just have to quickly type in the Grinch so that I know. So he's hairy, pot-bellied, and pear-shaped, snub-nosed. He has a cat face and a cynical personality. And
he lives alone with his dog. I think that's just anybody who lives alone with their dog.
You think they're hairy, pot-bellied, pear-shaped? You know what? I mean, maybe not snub-nosed or cat-faced, but for sure, hairy, pot-bellied, and pear-shaped. I've been pretty secluded for the past couple of weeks, and I'm not hairy because I don't grow hair.
Don't grow body hair.
Yeah, I am smooth like a dolphin. But I am getting a little pot-bellied and a little pear-shaped. And I keep on getting text messages. Oh, it's my D&D group and my girlfriend.
Lots of text messages.
Well, those two things are all the text messages I ever get, except for the ones I send to you every fortnight.
Right.
There it is. Look at that. We mentioned it again.
We got it again.
But oh my gosh. Okay, so
Did you get distracted again?
I didn't. But
Was your session canceled?
No. We need to. I think we're going to ignore the 2000 film adaptation.
Okay.
Because that one is it gives bad backstory. That is bad. It doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
It's not canonical.
It's just non-canonical. Okay. So, where are we starting with this? Are we getting on like what is a who?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Or it's like. Why do they all live in Whoville?
Who's are just pygmies. That's why, because they're just short creatures.
Okay.
But I think what is the Grinch? Because there's no. He has.
Well, isn't he just like a who that doesn't live in Whoville?
But then why is he green?
Like he looks similar to all of them, no?
No. I mean, not really.
I mean, well, here's the difference. He's very hairy and does not wear clothes. As someone who lives alone, I can tell you, often I'm very hairy and do not wear clothes.
Okay, so you think the only extraordinary thing about the Grinch is that he has green hair, and that's
yes, right.
Okay, so you think all the Who's,
well, that and the heart is the wrong size.
Obviously, all the Who's grow excessive body hair. But wax constantly.
Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be wax constantly. Like, how long has the Grinch been living that hashtag hermit life?
53 years.
On the top of a mountain.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think that he wears no clothes because he's too warm or because he just doesn't feel the need to?
I think it probably started with like didn't feel the need to, and then like, you know, winter hit and then it got too warm under the layer of clothes. Plus the clothes probably just didn't fit right. You know how hairy he is.
Yeah. Do you have that same experience with your own body hair?
A little bit sometimes.
It just doesn't, your clothes just don't fit right because your hair is just too thick.
Well, it's not that it doesn't fit right, but like, you know, the belly hair will get all staticky and stuff.
Gotcha,
you know.
Gotcha. You know, you keep on. I don't know because again, I'm smooth like a dolphin.
Smooth like a dolphin.
Okay, yeah, okay. I like that idea. So then, why do we think he's so grumpy? We think it's the heart. It's got to be the heart.
I think it's got to be the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we think?
But so is it? Which is it? Is the heart too small because he's grumpy, or is he grumpy because the heart's too small?
That's a good question. Also, so here's the thing. I think. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently been looking into a lot of the neurological effects of COVID-19, which are fascinating. But it does kind of part of the issue with developing, like, are there neurological effects to COVID-19 is the question, you know, is it from the damage to your lungs or is it from damage to the brain? So I'm wondering if his heart is too small, is he just not getting enough blood to the brain to
feel compassion?
Yeah, so his brain is just like but not feel compassion, but maybe he's like complete lizard brain at this point in time. Like his brain has just been shutting off all of the extra functions to save energy.
Right.
And he's just undeveloped. Like maybe it's not even like a lack of compassion. God. But maybe it's like not autism, but like a social disability or a social
I mean, maybe it all just kind of like ties together. Like he went off, is living in a mountain on his own, not wearing clothes, not like going anywhere or doing things. So like he hasn't been
exercising,
stressing or exercising or anything.
Yeah, you know, you stretch.
So
you stretch
like
that
everything,
muscle.
yeah, you stretch your heart. Have you never exercised your heart before?
I've exercised. I've just never stretched it before. I didn't know I needed to like pre-exercise my heart. Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta get right in there.
Get right in there. Really, I really feel that. I feel that burn.
Yeah, well, be careful. We can't have everyone hear all that good stretching.
Oh yeah, it's that good auditory. Is it right there?
There it is.
Here's a tip for all you podcasters out there. If you want to stretch during your podcast, make jokes about stretching, and then you can just do it as part of the joke.
And you just that's the justification.
Yeah.
Just as thinly veiled as you need it to be, but
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's his sedentary lifestyle that's leading to this tiny heart syndrome?
Mm-hmm. Right. Which then in turn isn't pumping enough blood for the brain. And
so it's just like it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it. So then, what is it? What is it about? Do we think that it is? I kind of like this idea because it kind of shuts down the whole like meaning behind the book. Is that
that all of that running around he did is why his heart grew?
Yes, yeah, and that's why he feels better.
Right.
It's oh my gosh. Legally Blonde.
Oh no, right. I do like that because it just shifts the meaning of the book from like the spirit of Christmas and love to like, hey, if you like go outside and take a walk, you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. It's happy or working out gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Mm-hmm. Happy people don't kill their husbands.
The natural conclusion.
That should be the conclusion to every story of all time. Legally Blonde should just cut off right there. I understand they had to like show that she was correct. Whatever.
But yeah, no, I like accidentally finding a positive secular meaning out of a Christmas book.
I feel like this is a positive secular meaning because it's not about Christmas as a religious holiday. It's not about the birth of Christ. It's about Christmas, the holiday that you get together and do things. I understand that you've been working jobs or you have to work through Christmas for the past decade, but
yeah,
sometimes people do see each other on Christmas.
That sounds overrated.
Much like me and you used to do.
Did we used to see each other on Christmas?
No, but we saw each other on the 26th.
Did we?
Yeah, because we only got the 25th off.
Because we went back to work the next day?
Yeah.
I don't remember even a little bit of that.
We got the 25th off, and then we didn't get the first off. So we just like...
went back to work for 2 days.
Yeah. It was like the most...
Yeah, that sounds right.
It was the most pointless time in our entire working life. Like, there was a point in time
because no one was there to give us work.
I literally had no work to do and was trained to do no work my first year. And I was like, cool, it's Christmas. I got nothing to do.
Yep.
Anyway, I feel like this is it. Like,
yeah, I think we've done. That feels good for the Grinch.
Yeah, I feel so too. How about let's do Horton Here's a Who. I actually got to remember this one because I don't remember if the Who Horton hears is actually inside of the puffball or if it's just like schizophrenia in the book. So why would
I don't remember if there's any like hints at anything like that in the book.
Oh whoa! Oh no! He does.
You find a vast trove of Horton Here's a Who canon that you didn't know about before. Well, is that what that noise was?
No, it's I looked at the Wikipedia page for Horton Here's a Who.
So it sounds like yes.
So the book tells a story of Horton the elephant who, while splashing in a pool, hears a small speck of dust talking to him.
Right.
Horton surmises that a small person lives on a speck and places it on a clover, vowing to protect it. He later discovers that speck is actually a tiny planet, home to a community called Whoville, where microscopic creatures called Whos live.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a few weird things. I know what you're thinking. It's just microscopic creatures. That's easy to explain. But
wait, there's more.
This is a tiny planet, which means that they can walk all the way around the dust ball and not fall off. How does that work?
Could be magnets.
So we're thinking the speck of dust is magnetized. I think it makes sense. Maybe not magnets. Maybe it's like it's a speck of dust, so it's got to be electrically charged somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And the who's are oppositely charged,
so
they're always being drawn to
mm-hmm.
to
the dust,
to the
dust planet. Yeah, actually, that is a really good pivot from my made-up nonsense answer, and I do like that.
I agree. I think that was genius, and
well, I wouldn't go that far. I can't let your ego get too big.
I should get one of Dr. Seuss's those prizes that they give him. What are they called? The things
that they give to Dr. Seuss or to other people?
They give them also to other people, I'm sure. He just has a lot of them. Copula prize? That's not the word. Whatever it is.
I have no idea what you got.
Craigulodon?
You want your very own Craigulodon.
That's
I'll make one up for you in MS Paint, don't worry.
Sometimes I worry that my audio is being picked up, and then I realize, nope, Jeff heard that exactly the way it was said. Okay, I like this, but here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are who's, and how complex do we think they are?
Well, like the one does speak Horton's language to him, right?
It does. Not only does it speak the language to Horton, but it also comes up with philosophical concepts, kind of abstract philosophical concepts, because it does say a person's a person no matter how small, which does kind of hint at
it is definitely sapient.
Yeah, it is for sure an intelligent creature.
Right.
So
I think my biggest issue here is that they share a language.
See, okay. I think the other, because I think that's that extreme. Here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Horton is an elephant, so everything I was about to say is wrong. That's what's crazy about this, is that Horton doesn't talk, but the who's can still communicate with him through English. So Horton must be a very intelligent elephant.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, is Horton just like a normal, average, run-of-the-mill elephant? Or are they like a crazy Dr. Seuss elephant?
That's a good point. I mean, if he's a crazy Dr. Seuss elephant, that's not much of an explanation.
Right. Well, I mean, and the difference there is like, is there a society of other elephants living in houses and stuff?
Okay. I see.
Or is it just Horton is in a zoo and is deprived of any enrichment, and this is the best his mind can make up? That got kind of dark.
That did. The answer is there is a society. They don't live in houses, but there's a jungle society. So we're assuming, I guess, Horton's an Asian elephant. I don't know. Let's look at his ears. That's not elephant ears. So it's hard to tell if he's Asian or African. I'm going to assume that
just need better illustrators for those children's books.
Yeah, that neither looks like the African continent nor the Asian continent. That looks like bird wings. or maybe a ghost.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. He's an Asian elephant, and there is a jungle society that he's a part of. So he's not He's not crazy, and he is a normal elephant, but to the extent that a normal elephant could exist in a weird jungle society. But there's a kangaroo. Right. There's no. So here's another issue I have with this. He talks to a kangaroo at some point in the book. Elephants don't exist in Australia. Kangaroos are
no. All right, so I'm back at the zoo then.
Okay, so you think that this is a zoo creature?
Yeah.
Okay, and that it's just all in his head?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be all in his head, because that makes me sad. But like, I mean, it could be just a smaller kind of, like, what do I want to say? Not like made up society. Like, whatever. It's just a smaller population of elephants that have their own shared language, I guess. That for some reason the Who's also know it.
Much like Babe.
And a kangaroo also knows it, apparently.
Yes. I think it's like an animalese, like an animal language.
Right.
But that makes sense, because if they're talking, the Who's might be able to pick up the language from the animals.
Mm-hmm.
If they're
okay, so this speck of dust has just been kind of kicking it, like in the zoo also.
Yeah. I think that this is generationally a generational old speck of dust.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say that's picking up the language through generations of osmosis. So like they say this thing and this thing happens. I guess that makes sense. The issue,
kinda.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the issue there is it's like a matter of scale. Like, do the Who's know that, like, about everything that exists around them?
Yeah.
Like, before meeting Horton?
Yeah, and like, could they, like, it's almost as if it's almost as if like a cosmic being were to come to Earth and speak English only because, and the only reason
I feel like English, it would be the other way around, like...
Yeah, we speak English, but they are the original speakers of English. We speak it because they have been broadcasting English about things that are going on
directly into English speakers' subconsciouses.
Yeah, which I find to be... I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that it would take a lot of observation on the part of the Who's to be able to grasp the language well enough to hold this kind of conversation with Horton.
Yeah, and like without making their own like dialect at the very least.
Yeah, or like having their own words, like that giant monster blob over there is kangaroo. Yeah.
Right.
But I guess the other issues, I'm having a couple of other issues with this, which is sound waves traveling to and from the speck.
Right.
And the other thing being, is it possible for a microscopic creature to be that intelligent? Like
so they are properly microscopic then, right?
They are unseeable to the naked eye.
Okay.
Which
I mean, the elephant doesn't resemble known elephants today, so it could be, some great time in the future that this happens where
elephants have evolved beyond their need for
ears. And
I was going to say their need to have ears that identify them based on where they're from. Yeah, maybe that's... Oh my gosh, maybe that's what it is. So you know the trick I'm talking about.
Oh,
right?
What?
You know the trick I'm talking about, where you identify an elephant based upon the shape of its ears. Where African
I am
elephants,
aware of a trick. Yes.
Yeah, African elephants, their ears look like the continent of Africa. Asian elephants, they look like the continent of Asia is a little rough. They're big and round. Yeah. But I'm looking at his ears now. They kind of look like spaceships. So
maybe this whole thing happens on a spaceship.
Yeah, maybe he's a spaceship elephant.
Could be.
Yeah, and they just
got them space zoos.
Elephants are just continuing the evolution to have their ears look like the continent that they're on, and this was the continent of spaceship.
You know the continent of spaceship.
Well, you don't. Well, not yet, because it hasn't been built yet. Jeff, this is in the future.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm slipping between timelines again.
Oh my god, you're oh man, I forgot his name.
Steven?
No, the guy from Slaughterhouse-5.
Shoot, he's in everything. Kilgore Trout?
Yeah, Kilgore Trout. That's it.
Yep.
Is it Kilgore Trout? It's not Kilgore Trout.
I don't think it is Kilgore Trout. I think he's just a different one.
It's like
different character in that.
I have my caps lock on. It's the main character of Slaughterhouse-5. He's got such a good name.
A different good name that is not Kilgore Trout.
It's Kurt Vonnegut, so it's got to be a good name.
Right.
it's what's his name has become unstuck in time. It's like literally the first words to.
Yeah. I also can't remember, and it's also bothering me a lot.
Is it Billy?
Billy Blue Jeans? No, I don't think it's that.
No, it's not Kilgore Trout. It's not Billy Pilgrim. Is it Billy Pilgrim? Yes.
Is it?
It's. I think it is. The first line is Billy.
Yes,
Pilgrim
it is Billy Pilgrim.
has become unstuck in time. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Sorry about that, everybody. That was just.
Yeah. So welcome to our
podcast with
Kurt Vonnegut podcast.
I would be
where we forget character names for 12 minutes.
I have to go.
And you get to listen as we furiously Google it.
Hey guys, sometimes it's tough to remember. Anyway, so yeah, I think that they're on a spaceship, and I'm actually going to go this far. What if the spec is like, because I'm having difficulty. Maybe it's just, I know it's just me because I live in a world where this doesn't exist.
Right.
But an organic creature that is that small with that level of intelligence, because
once more, an inorganic creature.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe it's like it's like the dust is like the nanobots or whatever that exist in the air that are just like scraps of like the intelligence.
So the Who's in Horton Hears a Who are just a very small portion of gray goo, is what you're suggesting.
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh.
Or I'm actually even kind of thinking of them being like the well, I'm gonna have to Google this one again because I don't remember the name of them. They're the Vosh. I want to say Vosh Narodi, but that is not correct.
What? Are we talking about?
It's Doctor Who.
Is it? It's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Is it new Doctor Who or older Doctor Who?
It's new Doctor Who. It's the Vashta Narada. It's the darkness microscopic carnivores that are like piranhas that eat people. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking more like that, where it's like a community of microscopic specks that all communicate together.
Okay. And that's how they're able to talk up to Horton.
Yeah, and like generate the energy required to like create the sound that Horton can hear.
Okay, yeah, I like that because that's starting to explain one of the other issues that you had pointed out earlier.
And the thing is, I'm going to go this far because I like flexing my fictional muscles. I think that the specks are actually like the byproduct dust from the creation of artificial intelligence systems. So like mechanical or electrical systems that are artificially intelligent. The like byproduct of that, the stuff that gets like aerosolized, then starts to communicate with each other and develops this kind of airborne network of like neural connectors. So like
so are you suggesting that this dust is a small portion of a much like larger like
brain
inorganic mass of creatures?
Yeah.
So it's not just this one individual dust and who's talking to them.
Yes. But I think because Horton's he's only an elephant, dude. He's a rocket elephant. Everyone else.
He's a rocket elephant. He can't comprehend that this one speck of dust might just be but a tiny portion of a much larger, more terrifying creature.
Yeah, that is the all-encompassing recirculated air of the entire spaceship. Horton Hears a Who is a space thriller. So
it's just like the spaceship is just messing with the one elephant
No.
in its zoo?
No.
Or is it like
the spaceship
a completely separate thing at that point?
It's a completely separate thing. So this is all the byproduct art of it. Like this was never meant to be created. But over the ages of creating artificial intelligence, the dust left over from that contains
they were more successful in making artificially intelligent dusts than the artificial intelligence they needed to run the spaceship.
Oh, we don't know that. Maybe the artificial on the spaceship is really good, and it just happens to be that the dust is just more widespread and because it's dust, can absorb more information at one time. Because it's just
and there's just much more able to iterate on what's happening because there's so much more of it.
And it's a community of far smaller pieces rather than a single community in one area that's like segregated.
Right.
I've never wanted to write fan fiction so much. Anyway,
man, I like that as an excuse to like not tidy up. Like, no, it might be a moral dilemma because I don't know if this will create life one day.
This might be sentient, guys.
You can't prove it's not.
The dirt on my plates, the extra food, might be sentient. Prove to me it's not. All right.
Good. No better explanation than that.
No better.
What's next?
So that's Horton Hears a Who. I think we should do there's a few things that are weird. We could do Daisy Head Maisie. We could do the Lorax. We could do There's a Rocket in My Pocket. We could do Bartholomew and the Oobleck, Yertle the Turtle.
I think I'm familiar with exactly one of those.
Which is the Lorax?
That's the one.
Okay. I just feel like there's not much that we can explain about the Lorax other than the fact that it actually is like the most scientifically structured Dr. Seuss book. I guess we could try to explain what a Thanid is, but I mean, it says it right there. A Thanid is a fine something that all people need. So let's do. All
right. I mean, yeah, we could do something else. I'll just make it up as I go. That's what I usually do.
I gotta read this.
Or you just silence. Do you want me to vamp a little bit while you Google the next topic?
I don't want you to vamp because that means that I can't just remove this part of the podcast with the trying to delete silence section. So you vamping just adds to my work I have to do.
I mean, we can keep the vamping in. I mean, the whole podcast is us just
vamping for an hour.
Vamping, yeah, really. That's all it is.
So I would like
slightly more structured most of the time.
This is the issue I'm running into. I'm having a difficult time. I feel like no matter what we do, we're going to be kind of stretching the bounds of
time and space.
Of time and space. I want to do the Oobleck because it's
okay. I won't stop you.
It's a magician in the dungeon. That they said that they can make Oobleck, which will not look like anything like regular weather when the king is like, hey, I want new kind of cool weather. And then the next thing is that he sees droplets of green substance falling from the sky. He's really happy about it because it's new and interesting, and but everything just fills with Oobleck. So here's my question: what is Oobleck? Like, what do we think is the substance? It seems to be highly
so viscous. It's Oobleck is some fellow caused it to like
it's actually
fall out of the sky.
It's a group of fellows, but yes, the royal magicians.
Okay, right.
Oh, thank you for letting me know what magicians are, Wikipedia. That's right. That's the part of this.
That's what you needed.
Yeah, that's the part of this page that I didn't understand.
So if it's like a group of court magicians, are they described as like just practicing magics as far as anyone can tell, and it's just some advanced tech? Perhaps?
None of that is explained. They're royal magicians that live in a musty hole beneath the dungeon.
Cool place. It's probably cheap rent. That's why.
Yeah, there you go. Real economical right there, man. First thing you got to know when you're starting a business is get the right location. You got to get a location that fits your needs and your cost. They're magicians. They don't need a lot. They can be in a hole in the ground.
Right.
In a ground. Yeah.
In a ground. Doesn't even matter which.
Just any ground. Grave, other kinds of ground, rock. I guess is the kind of ground. Sand. That's the kind of ground.
Good.
And it is.
So what are they doing?
It's So what is going on here? What green stuff is running from the sky, and it's highly viscous. Where is it coming from? What is it?
The sky.
Okay.
I mean, and I guess the problem that I'm having with it is like, did the magicians do anything, or like, hey, yo, King, look out the window?
they were just
There's some weird stuff going on.
I love. Oh, so they did. So they do say we can make oobleck, and the next day there is oobleck.
Okay.
I do like the idea that they actually can't make oobleck. They were lying and just got really lucky.
Very lucky.
They was like, oh my god, dude, that was so close. I don't know what oobleck is. That's a word I made up.
And that's the thing. Did they describe oobleck before it happened?
I don't believe they did.
Because if that's the case, they could just have like
So I guess here's
meteorological instruments, and they're like, we don't know what these readings mean. Something's got to be happening soon.
So here's the thing. I guess I didn't miss this part.
Mm-hmm.
They make oobleck at their Mystic Mountain and then release it into the air.
Or do they have a tunnel to the Mystic Mountain from their musty hole?
That's my guess. I don't think they go that much into depth in the Dr. Seuss book.
Right. So I guess it's just then, if they made oobleck beforehand, they just have big vats of viscous goo that they're launching from this mountaintop.
Oh, that is depressing.
Why is it depressing? They're like, hey, pay us money, give us patronage, and we'll do this magic trick. And they just were really banking that they would get
more money.
Any money, because they did invest in all of these vats and goo.
Do we think that this is just the Nickelodeon slime, and that's really just all they bought? They just bought vats. Like they thought Nickelodeon slime was going to be the next Beanie Babies, and they were like, we should just buy vats of it now.
Right.
And this stuff's going to be as good as currency.
And it was like about to go bad, so they had to do something with it.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, what if we just throw it at the kingdom? I like this. I like this idea because that gives us a real world, actual thing for it.
Mm-hmm.
This was easier than I thought it was going to be. They're just launching slime at their.
It's just a grift because they're in too deep in their slime investment.
Yeah. And
needed to fabricate a story to get some sort of return.
Yeah, they need to monetize their assets. And their only asset is slime. Nickelodeon slime. They went deep. This was a timeshare salesman. And they went deep into that slime hole.
Right. They bought the patent right out from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that's why Nickelodeon doesn't use a slime anymore.
All of their stores. Yeah, exactly.
I like how all of these books take place in such different eras. Horton Hears the Who is obviously in the year 3201, and Bartholomew and the Oobleck is obviously in 2009. Okay. Let's do one more.
Okay, sure.
How about Daisy Head Maisie?
Okay.
So this is a story of a little girl. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Normal girl, wears a pink dress.
Right.
But she, Daisy starts growing from her head one day, and she essentially becomes like a what are the influencer?
Plant monster.
No, an influencer. Because she's this person who has a flower growing out of her head. So she's like a celebrity. So
she gets some Instagram followers and
and people
shills for makeup and shoe companies.
Yeah, they're jiving on it. The thing is that so that's and the book is like she should go back home once she gets rich and famous, and she's like sad. She's being torn apart by corporate America.
Right.
the I guess the scientific question I have is, this daisy is so rooted in her skull that she can be picked up by it.
Huh.
So
that's probably bad for the person,
but
right?
she doesn't seem to have any adverse effects.
Huh.
So do we think that this is just
well, what's it like? What's it eating? Like, what's sustaining it? How's it getting nutrients?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would say it's probably photosynthetic because it's a daisy. Daisies do exist.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it does also still need to like take up nutrients through its roots.
So do we think that she's the source of those nutrients?
They would have to be, right?
I would think so. And so
it's just like a vampiric daisy subsisting off of this person's blood.
Daisy, whose roots are just like ingrown into her skull, right?
Yeah. Have to be.
Do we think that the daisy is controlling her in some way? Or...
Is the daisy people cordyceps? I think that's gotta be it.
I agree. I think that this is what we're really learning here is that Dr. Seuss has got some dark psychological Black Mirror existed in the 1950s.
In Dr. Seuss's mind.
Dr. Seuss, yeah.
Actually, I do kind of like the idea of it being people cordyceps with like the person becoming famous and everyone like fawning over them and in their kind of general sphere where they can be further infected by more daisies.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, what is more like flowers evolutionarily? They're the influencers of evolution. Like their whole purpose is to be like, I am big and bright, and you should come and touch me,
and you should pollinate me.
Yeah, like to the point in time where they glow in UV because bees can see UV. Like they for sure are the Instagram influencers of the natural world. I like this idea that like this is a plant that's like I can pollinate things and people if they touch me and move me around. So maybe this is like an alien daisy, but a daisy that is its entire evolutionary purpose is to just be strange in a way that makes everyone want to touch it.
So is this like just a weird quirk in evolution that happened?
I would say that. I would say it's a weird quirk. It's not an alien. That's a stupid idea. Whoever said that's an idiot.
Right.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is just like a weird quirk in evolution of like, what's the like? Sure, a bee is fine, but a bee has like a home range of what? Square mile? I don't actually know.
Several miles.
Several miles? You would know. You're an entomologist.
Yeah. I don't remember.
You were an entomologist 8 years ago.
Depending on the timeline.
Yeah, or 2,000 years ago. You were an entomologist with Archimedes and all those guys. But I didn't know where I was going. So a flower that evolution's like, okay, instead of having a bee, I can just be a girl with a flower growing out of my head. Everyone's gonna want to touch me, and I'm gonna pollinate all the daisies. So what I am seeing is that after, excuse me,
2 miles, by the way, the range on a bee.
Whatever it is.
For when you're done sneezing.
Whatever it is, humans have a far larger home range. So
that's true.
So what I'm saying is that this daisy is going to become the most what's the word? Prolific. That's it. Prolific daisy that exists. So I think that this is the beginning to a parasitic weed in the Dr. Seuss verse that will just do this thing. It'll infect everyone. Everyone will become influencers, and I think that this is happening now.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that with a straight face, but I couldn't. This is happening. We are seeing the outcome to this daisy proliferation, where now all daisies are infecting our brains, and
Are you talking about, like, today in real life? Because
yeah.
I don't know anyone who has flowers growing out of their heads.
We're a few evolutions along, dog. Okay? The daisy has learned, okay? It's grown. It knows it can't just be a flower. That's boring now. Now what it does is...
No, I think it's just Zuckerberg. He Zuckerberged us.
No, what you don't realize is it's dandruff. Dandruff is pollen. That's for daisies. And every time we touch each other's heads or our hands to our hair, and then someone else's hair, we proliferate the flowers that are growing in our brains.
What if you don't have hair on your head?
Then you still can get dandruff. Sorry. I was doing so good.
You just like it was really good, and then you went way too hard.
It's an hour and 12 minutes into recording this, and that was the first swear I said.
I think it was, and it was fantastic.
Anyway, I think that is my answer to this. I think that is solid, amazing explanation. I love the idea that Dr. Seuss is just like sci-fi thriller.
I am with you on it being a great explanation until we got real lost in the weeds in your conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but like that's.
But up until that point, pretty good.
Well, haven't you ever like watched an episode of Black Mirror and for like a day afterwards you're like, but what if? And then you're like, this was a stupid idea. I can't believe I spent so much energy thinking about this.
No, I don't think I've done that.
You haven't watched enough Black Mirror then. Actually, I haven't watched that much Black Mirror. What about Twilight Zone?
What about it?
Has it happened to you for Twilight Zone?
What if this is a thing that happens?
And you go way deep down a rabbit hole and then you realize it's...
No, I mean, aside from like the doppelganger episode, I don't think so. Well, but doppelgangers are real.
Aren't you just like a wonderful human being who has no problems or issues whatsoever? Like just like completely...
Or, I mean, can separate the fiction from reality.
Oh, I can separate the fiction from reality. My name is Jeff.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you feel bad about your deficiencies. But, I mean, if you're going to take it personal...
I don't think they're
deficiencies. That's on you, bud.
I think they're proficiencies.
You going to put that on your resume now?
Inability to separate fact from fiction.
Just think of the creative outside of the box solutions we'll come up with.
Yeah, exactly. Just think of the creativity that'll blossom from being unable to separate out this Dr. Seuss world from the real world. Not only the Dr. Seuss world, but my interpretation of the Dr. Seuss world from the real world.
Just imposed upon the real world.
Yeah, listen, guys, everything is interconnected. Illuminati. I'm doing hand signals, and I keep forgetting no one can see me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
man,
I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
We only did 3 books, but sorry, guys.
Well, 3 books and like a bunch of stories. I mean, there's 1,000 of them. We can put them on the list of things to revisit that... Actually, I was going to say that we never revisit, but I think we have revisited a couple.
So I lied. There's 100 hardcover books. Wait.
And how many not hardcover books?
I think he only wrote hardcover books.
Oh, well, good for him. He had standards.
Well, because, okay, yeah, he's Dr. Seuss. Does he have... Oh my god, there are, like, books. Okay, well, okay.
There are books. Well done.
I will just put this in here, and I might take it out, depending on how Jeff responds to it.
Okay.
The first book that was illustrated by Dr. Seuss
is
a book called The Pocket Book of Boners. I don't know if that fits into our clean comedy sensibilities.
I think that
we could just...
It might be something completely innocent and just from a different time. I don't even know how to Google this without getting terrible results.
At the time of its writing, the term boner was not commonly used to mean an erection with sexual connotation,
Right.
but rather a term meaning silly mistake.
Okay.
So I feel like we can keep it in our podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. Anyway, that's
4.2 on Goodreads.
4.2 on Goodreads? Is Goodreads out of 5 or 10? I think it's out of 5.
It's out of 5.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Goodreads normally is like, they're kind of like the GameStop or the GameSpot of book rating, where they're like, either it's a 8.9 or it's a 2.3. There's no in between. It's
Right.
either it's mediocre good or mediocre bad. And that's it.
So we're gonna try the outro?
Yeah, I was gonna try the outro.
You wanna give it a shake?
How's that?
That's the one. That's the whole outro.
The whole outro. You said give it a shake. Wait, maybe I can do the outro while shaking, but I do have to take my headphones off because it hurts with them on.
I think that will be the worst audio imaginable. Can I also take my headset off?
No, you can't.
Oh, no.
This
is horrendous. I am so sorry to all of our listeners. I don't even know what he was hitting to make all the extra
to fill
noises. I think it must have been something like hitting his boom arm.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? I think it was. I think it was my headphones hitting my pop filter. Yeah,
that also works.
We'll see if it's tolerable. If it's tolerable to me, it's tolerable.
It is
to
not.
If there's just a long noise, I shook my head for a really long time and tried to talk. Sorry, listener.
Thank you, listener, for bearing with us through that audio. Not even the whole podcast, just that last part.
Just that if you haven't set your computer on fire.
Yeah. So we are Pedantic Handwavium. We have a website called pedantichandwavium.com or pedantichw.com if you're as lazy as we are.
Yep. That's why we made it.
Yep. We're on the Twitter at phandwavium. We're on the YouTube at, what are we there? Pedantic Handwavium?
Yeah, it's Pedantic Handwavium. I think it's
all right.
One word? I don't actually know, but if you look for 2 words, you'll find us.
We are.
I mean, don't just look for 2 words.
Yeah, just 2 words. Google 2 words. We're gonna get that SEO right. We'll get there. What else? We're on the internet. We're on like any podcasting app.
Yes, you should
probably
like and subscribe to us.
That's worthwhile.
For sure.
Yeah, do those.
And then you should also tell your friends. You should tweet about us. You should scream it from the mountaintops.
Or places closer to where other people are, aside from mountaintops.
Hey, dude. No one is...
the Grinch probably would listen to podcasts,
Nobody has broken into that Sherpa market.
Right. From all the shaking of your head? Or...
Yeah. No, it's the shaking of my head. It hurts.
Okay.
My brain feels like it's jelly.
You get used to it. So yeah, I think that's it. Good night, listener. We'll talk to you in another fortnight.
Never go back to having hair because it just annoys you, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, today I think was day 4 of not having had shaved, and it was killing me.
Yeah, I bet once your hair is gone, even the smallest amount of it is probably real annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that issue, but I could manage it.
I mean, you can.
I guess
it's not hard.
I could shave my head. I think Ashley would leave me if I shaved my head. Or
well, just like do it and see how it looks.
and then
And
hide
if it's
for her.
no good, just like don't Skype for like a couple of weeks and let it grow back in.
My hair grows pretty slowly, actually. My hair is surprisingly slow to grow. Because there's just so much of it, I think. I think it's just so thick, it requires a lot of energy. Like...
It's gotta just push out those, like, inch diameter strands of hair.
It's like sailing rope. I look like Raggedy Ann. I really do, but with brown hair instead of red.
Right.
Oh. Oh, it's a very disturbing image.